Did you catch that viral clip of Meghan Markle dancing while heavily pregnant? If not, buckle up, because this is more than just a playful moment. It's the spark that's reigniting one of the royal family's most heated and controversial discussions. What looked like a joyful throwback for her daughter Lilibet's birthday quickly spiraled into a storm of whispers, doubts, and explosive allegations. Meghan's choice to share such a personal moment was interpreted by some as endearing and authentic. But to others, it reopened old wounds and conspiracy theories that refused to die. And at the heart of it all lies a single, unsettling question. Did Meghan Markle fake her pregnancies? What started as mere gossip years ago has now resurfaced with renewed intensity, fueled by voices from within her own estranged family. Thomas Markle and her half, brother Thomas Jr., have previously criticized her, but this time their claims strike at the very core of her identity as a mother. Without any hard evidence, they've suggested that Meghan underwent a hysterectomy, froze her eggs long ago, and never actually carried either of her children, Archie or Lilibet. These are bold, deeply personal claims. And though they sound outrageous, the fact that they're echoed by people who once had close access to her life adds a chilling weight to the rumors. What adds more fuel to this already raging fire is the way Meghan and Harry handled the births of their children. Unlike royal tradition, they skipped the customary hospital steps. No iconic photo op on the hospital steps, limited public visibility, and fiercely guarded privacy surrounding their kids. Initially, they shared only 1 or 2 images of their children. Now, suddenly, Meghan is releasing curated family moments, complete with stylized photographs and nostalgic captions. Critics claim this is hypocrisy. After all, weren't they the ones demanding privacy? What's changed? As these conversations reignite, eagle-eyed internet users are zeroing in on the smallest of details. The dance video itself is under a digital microscope. Every frame is being analyzed. Was Meghan's baby bump moving naturally? Did it look too perfect, too round, too high for someone supposedly 9 months pregnant? Medical professionals haven't confirmed anything, but anonymous internet sleuths are more than ready to deliver their verdicts. Some viewers have pointed out the lack of medical gear in the video. No Roman IV, no cannula, asking why someone supposedly in labor appeared so energized and carefree. Others suggest the video might have been pre-recorded, staged, or even created using AI. These accusations, while wild, have caught fire on platforms like Reddit and YouTube, where conspiracies are dissected and amplified. Then comes the infamous moon bump theory. This old rumor claims that Meghan used a prosthetic belly during her pregnancies. It's a claim that's been laughed off and condemned, yet it refuses to go away. The twerking video has resurrected this theory, giving skeptics new material to examine and attack. And just when it seemed things couldn't get more bizarre, rumors started swirling that even Prince William might have made cryptic remarks alluding to doubts about Meghan's pregnancies. While these claims are unverified and murky at best, they're potent enough to shake public trust and raise eyebrows. And here's what's really surprising: the complete silence from mainstream media. No serious outlets are covering the story in depth. No denials or clarifications are coming from royal representatives, and no official medical records have been produced to dispel the rumors. The royal family is sticking to its age-old rule: never complain, never explain. But in the age of the internet, silence often speaks louder than words. For fans of Meghan and Harry, the birthday tribute video was heartwarming. Alongside the twerking clip, Meghan posted tender moments: Harry cradling their newborn, barefoot walks with their daughter, black and white snapshots from 2021. Her captions were poetic and sweet, with lines like "Daddy's little girl" and "favorite adventurer." And each day is brighter and better because of it. These were crafted moments meant to showcase love, family, and authenticity, but to critics it felt too polished, too perfect. Another layer in what they believe is Meghan's carefully constructed public image. They argue that these posts are less about celebrating a birthday and more about damage control, managing a narrative and distracting from the questions that still linger. The harsh reality is that Meghan's motherhood has been a magnet for skepticism from day one. Every public appearance, every announcement, every photo has been scrutinized. The warmth seen in Kate Middleton's interactions with her children, or the late Princess Diana's spontaneous maternal gestures, is often cited as a stark contrast to Meghan's seemingly distant demeanor. Critics say her photos feel more like branding materials than genuine family moments, and now, with so little unfiltered footage of Archie and Lilibet available, the doubts have only deepened. The absence of natural maternal behavior in public, no candid smiles, no playful giggles caught off guard, has led some to suspect something more serious. And when people compare the tightly edited family videos to Meghan's earlier fight for privacy, they see contradiction, not authenticity. To make matters worse, reports emerged that Meghan's royal title was briefly removed from her children's birth certificates, only to be reinstated later. The change was unusual, unexplained, and unprecedented. Even immigration officials found it odd, and that momentary slip in documentation has become yet another breadcrumb in the trail for conspiracy theorists to follow. And then there's Harry. His presence in every image, every video, every photo is presented as the devoted, barefoot father, a soft counterbalance to Meghan's polished grace. But critics suggest this isn't an accident. They say it's all part of a narrative crafted to show Harry and Meghan not just as parents, but as the right kind of parents, devoted, nurturing, media-savvy. All of this plays into a larger conversation about trust, transparency, and the power of narrative in the digital age. Meghan and Harry's story isn't just about royalty anymore. It's about how public figures use image and silence to shape perception. It's about how absence of evidence becomes evidence of deception. And it's about how speculation, when left unaddressed, can spiral into something massive, unmanageable, and permanently damaging. This story, true or not, has captured the public imagination. And until someone, Meghan, Harry, the palace, decides to speak plainly and directly, the shadow of doubt will only grow longer. It's not just a matter of whether Meghan carried her children, it's a matter of why no one seems willing to give the world a clear, honest answer. But perhaps the most unsettling part of all this is not just the accusations themselves, but the way the silence surrounding them breeds even more uncertainty. Meghan and Harry have always insisted on protecting their family's privacy, and in many ways, they're entitled to that. But the more carefully curated their public image becomes, the more it invites people to question what they're not seeing. Privacy in a royal context has never come without scrutiny. In fact, the very nature of royalty is built on public fascination. So when the couple asks for boundaries while simultaneously releasing select personal content, it creates a contradiction that critics are all too eager to exploit. And let's not ignore how this conversation has evolved in the broader cultural landscape. Social media has turned everyone into a detective, every image into a clue, and every silence into a confirmation. What was once the work of tabloid journalists is now performed in real time by thousands of users, each with a theory, a screenshot, a moment they believe disproves the official narrative. From TikTok breakdowns to YouTube exposes and Reddit threads dissecting video frames pixel by pixel, the digital world has created an echo chamber where rumors don't just live, they evolve. At the center of this digital storm is Meghan herself, a woman whose every move has been under a microscope since the moment she was linked to Prince Harry. For some, she's a symbol of modernity, strength, and resilience. For others, she's a figure of suspicion, someone whose every smile is rehearsed, every move calculated, and this pregnancy conspiracy, as far-fetched as it might seem to many, taps into those deeper public emotions, resentment, distrust, and the ever-present thirst for scandal. But what's especially important to understand is that none of these theories exist in a vacuum. They're fueled by every unanswered question, every perceived inconsistency, every PR move that seems a little too perfect. Meghan and Harry have chosen to step back from royal duties, yet they've continued to maintain a highly visible media presence through documentaries, books, interviews, and curated social posts. The dance between privacy and publicity is delicate, and when it looks too polished, people start to feel manipulated. Some might argue that Meghan is simply the latest in a long line of women in the royal family to be unfairly scrutinized. Princess Diana lived through it, Kate Middleton has faced it too, but Meghan's experience is different, amplified by race, modern media, and the couple's controversial departure from the monarchy, the result. An avalanche of criticism, much of it harsher, more invasive, and more persistent than what her predecessors endured. And then there's the question of intent. Are people genuinely seeking the truth, or are they simply addicted to the drama? Is this about justice, or is it entertainment disguised as moral inquiry? For many, the obsession with Meghan's motherhood has less to do with maternal authenticity and more to do with controlling the narrative, punishing defiance, and resisting the idea that someone could choose to live differently from royal tradition and still be seen as legitimate. That's what makes this so difficult to unravel. Every image she posts is both a personal moment and a public statement. Every silence is seen as suspicious, and the longer it goes on, the less likely it seems that any explanation, no matter how honest or complete, would satisfy the skeptics. Even if Meghan were to produce medical records or sworn testimony tomorrow, there would still be corners of the internet convinced it was a cover-up, because at this point, the issue isn't really about truth. It's about belief, what people believe Meghan represents, what they believe the royal family should be, and what they believe they're owed as the audience to this ongoing spectacle, and of course, the palace isn't helping. Their silence, strategic or not, adds layers of mystery that fuel the narrative further. Whether they're trying to protect Meghan and Harry, preserve the monarchy's image, or simply uphold their long-standing tradition of saying nothing, the result is the same. A vacuum of answers, and where there's a vacuum, speculation rushes in. This brings us to the future. Where does this story go from here? Will Meghan and Harry continue sharing their lives through carefully managed content, risking more backlash with every post? Or will they retreat entirely from public view, hoping that silence eventually starves the rumors of oxygen? Will the palace eventually be forced to respond? Or will they allow these questions to fester indefinitely, risking the integrity of an institution that is already facing generational change and widespread skepticism? None of these outcomes are clear. But what is clear is that the public isn't done asking, the curiosity isn't fading, if anything, it's intensifying, with every new rumor, every newly discovered inconsistency. The conspiracy grows legs, taking on a life of its own. And Meghan, willingly or not, remains at the center. This is more than just celebrity gossip. It's a reflection of our digital age, how we consume information, how quickly narratives can be shaped and reshaped, and how difficult it is to escape once you become the subject of mass speculation. Meghan may have been trying to share a joyful memory, but in doing so, she reopened a wound that never really healed. And now, whether she likes it or not, the world is watching closer than ever. So the question remains, not just whether Meghan's pregnancies were real, but why that question matters so much to people, why it strikes such a nerve, why it's become a litmus test for truth, trust, and transparency in a world that increasingly blurs the lines between fact and fiction. Maybe it's about more than Meghan. Maybe it's about how we deal with power, image, and the very human need to feel like we know what's real. Or maybe it's just about the thrill of scandal, the allure of a royal mystery no one can quite solve.